what's really going to get us is what the courts can prove is systemic practice, man. The other side of systemic practice that they're coming after us with is these clubs that have long-standing beefs with one another. This is Miklo, 1%er, and I'm chatting with Staxx.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got
and we can bring the violence way down. But as long as this system is in play, man, the violence will never stop. And the thing is, we're doing the fake job for them. And if you look at certain countries around the world, man, you know, I got people that I know places like New Zealand. They can't even. It's illegal to wear patches now in New Zealand.
Yeah.
And people say that type of shit can't happen here, man. But I mean, look at what this administration is now doing, man. They can do anything they want. If they decide that we are a threat, they will start to do shit like that. You know what I mean? And not doing ourselves any favors with this whole unwritten territorial violence system. It's got to end. It's got to change, man.
Yeah, it's like the bully on the playground, right? It's like the bully on the playground. Someone's tired of it. They're not going to stand for it anymore. And then, or it could be them within their own ranks eating their own. Things like that can start causing a problem.
Well, so in the Pacific Northwest, man, up in like Washington State, there's been movements in the courts to get things like anti-profiling law for clubs and bars and stuff. So what ended up happening is certain club members and stuff went through the courts and pushed for anti-profiling laws in like Seattle, Washington. So what that means is if you get in trouble, if you like pulled over and get in trouble, if you can prove that, you know, the reason you got pulled is because you're at a club, the whole gets thrown out, right? So that's a big for our culture up there. And when that got put in place, what I've been told is all the clubs in the area kind of got together and they said, we've got to make a change, because if we continue to do things the way we were doing it before, we're going to lose these anti-profiling laws. So it can be done, man. Like up there, what's going on right now is there's the whole dominance blessings thing is not in play from what I've been told. Essentially, it's more of a, either play nice or you'll be ostracized, but nothing is under the threat of violence. You know what I mean? So it can be done, you know, and other places just get on board with stuff like that, because, you know, it's only a matter of time. And like this indictment that just happened down in should be a catalyst change, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Anybody with half a brain that's going through that or looking at that, you know, should be saying to themselves, man, we got to make a change. This is obviously not working. I mean, you're talking about systemic illegal practice within our culture being pushed as though it's, you know, some kind of state sanctioned thing. You look at these dudes on YouTube talking about it. They talk about it like they're the DMV or something. You know, go get your blessing, like you're going to the DMV to get your license or something, like it's some kind of state sanctioned thing, like it's legal. It's illegal. It's the most illegal practice, man, to say this belongs to me, this area belongs to me, do what I say or I'm going to kill you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's way
it's a
illegal.
fake dream come true is what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
And you said they're on the internet saying this type of stuff?
Absolutely. Yeah. This dude's selling books about going and asking for blessings and calling people dominance and all this shit. Yeah, absolutely, man. Wow. Whole channel's dedicated to that shit, you know. It's crazy, man. You know, for people on the outside looking in, that's the reaction we often get. People are like, what the fuck, dude? You guys are supposed to be about freedom. You know, what is this? After the Vietnam conflict, you know, people came back from Vietnam and they couldn't get work. You know, the Vietnam conflict was not a popular conflict. So a lot of veterans came back from Vietnam and were not able to find work, So what ended up happening is they ended up using the skills they had from the military to, make money for themselves, put food in the stomach, etc. So back then, that's when MC culture took kind of a hard left turn. A lot of these clubs, started doing committing illicit activity, whatever, to make money to survive. Right? It was a matter of survival back then, and that's when the territories got cut out. So back then it was a necessary thing, but this practice has ran its course. Right now, we're out here killing each other over T-shirt sales and parties. Who gets to throw a party on Saturday and sell T-shirts? And people are dying over this shit, man. It's ran its course. This whole dominance blessings thing has run its course. And if we are going to survive as a culture, we've got to make a change, period.
Now, when someone's wearing you guys' cut and they go out in public, are they expected to act a certain way?
Yeah, 100%, man. We definitely have a code of conduct. Act like an asshole, get treated like an asshole. Act like a gentleman, you get treated like a gentleman. The thing about it is, man, when you're wearing these colors, let's say you go to a bar and get in a fight. You didn't get in a fight. Los perros got in a fight. You understand? So, everything you do reflects back on all of us. Everything any of us in this club does reflects on every other member. So, we have a good reputation among the clubs we've hung out with and stuff. And we want to keep it that way. We are stand up 1%ers,
Now, the law enforcement
absolutely.
is cracking down like we talked about. Have you had any experiences with law enforcement where they are acting overzealous, or they're like harassing you when you go out and things with your brother? Is there any situations you can walk me through?
Yeah, man. I mean, like local law enforcement, small time law enforcement is typically not that bad, to be honest with you. I guess it depends on where you're at, man. Some places, I guess, they can be pretty bad, but the law enforcement that messes with us the most, I would say, are not even really law enforcement. It's informants, paid informants. Paid informants are a major threat, man, because they get paid big money. So what they do is they'll come around these clubs and start throwing money at the club. They'll see a brother needs, tires, and they'll buy them, and that's a big deal. And the brother looks at it as an act of brotherhood, but really it was a paid informant trying to get in good with the club. And what they do is they get into the club and then they create crime where there was none. We've gone through a lot of that type of shit, man, and it sucks. You gotta have your head on a swivel, and man, I mean, we are a club. We don't even commit any type of crime as a club. We're a smaller club. I can only imagine what it's like for some of these bigger clubs.
Yeah, I mean, some of the clubs are so big they get out of control, and you can't contain all that. Like if someone, so I go to church, right? So if someone in the church commits a crime, it's not, they're not holding the whole church as a whole as, oh, it's the church's problem. It's only a certain person that goes to church. Right. You know what I mean? And that's the way they should look at it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. That type of stuff, man, if you've got a member of your club, secretly out there committing silly little crimes, petty, that is what it is. That occurs, and unfortunately, it reflects back on all of us. But like I said, man, what's really gonna get us is what the courts can prove is systemic practice, man. The other side of systemic practice that they're coming after us with is these clubs that have long-standing beefs with one another. And what they're starting to try to prove in the courts is that, you may not get an order from your national cabinet to go out and attack these members of these other clubs that you have beef with, but the other brothers in your club will treat you a certain way if you don't take off when you see clubs. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like That's what they're going for now. They're trying to prove that certain things are systemic practice within clubs and within the culture as a whole. You know,
So
we're not doing ourselves any favors.
yeah. So have you gone? We have a little bit of a delay. What's the farthest you've rode on your bike?
Shit, up and down the East Coast, really. I haven't gone out west on my bike. You know, I've stayed on the East Coast. We as a club, our main spread out throughout the Mid-Atlantic. You know, basically North Carolina to New York City. Yeah, you know, a lot of back and forth up and down the Mid-Atlantic. But yeah, as far as the coast, I haven't done that yet, man.
Have you seen a lot of accidents on your time on the road?
100%, 100%, man. Some of these clubs, man, they push their members so hard, you know, and a lot of these guys are in their late 60s, early 70s and stuff, man. I sent you a bunch of pictures of me with a certain pretty well-known 1% club, you know, that I hung out with quite a bit. You know, those pictures if you want or whatever. But when I was hanging out with that club, man, those dudes, man, they wear a patch that says Survivor with a number next to it for how many years they've been in the club, because every year you're in that club, you survived another year.